Well, welcome, board member Mariah Lauritzen.
Good to be here.
Thank you for coming. Can I call you Mariah?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. I think we should announce that you're our newest board member. You were just elected. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's good
very
to be
exciting. And you've never served on the Central Sand Board. We gave Barbara Hockett a hard time because she'd come back to us. But this is your first time on the board, and we're excited to have you here. So, you know, folks probably don't know you. Even some of our employees don't know you that well because you're so new. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your background?
I've been a chemical engineer for 8 years. I have mostly worked in refineries, but now I work for DuPont to make cleaning chemicals for microchips.
Wow, DuPont.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Very interesting work. Very different too. And then you said you also had a background at refineries too. Anything local?
Yes, I've been around. So I worked in Corpus Christi, El Paso, and then finally made it here to Martinez to work at the refinery there.
Oh, great. Well, we're lucky to have you. Okay, so now you're local and you live in the city of?
Concord.
Concord. Okay, great. Mariah, as an engineering student, I know you worked on several water sanitation projects. Tell me a little bit more about those.
At that time, I was president of the local chapter of Engineers Without Borders. We had a sanitation project in Bolivia, and we also had a solar project in Rama, New Mexico. One thing that I really liked about Engineers Without Borders is that they emphasize getting away from donation mindset. And so you don't go in and talk to a population and say, this is the solution to your problem, we're going to install it, and then leave. And then the local population gets to realize, oh, we can't maintain this system. So it's all about getting buy-in from the local population and letting them guide how you're going to design a solution. And so that was very critical in my engineering education. Another awesome thing is that that chapter worked with the local anthropology department at the University of New Mexico, and they had already taken data of these 2 tribes in Bolivia, and they basically showed that at any one time, the local population was suffering 1/3 of the population from intestinal disease.
Wow.
And then during the rainy season, it could be above half the population. And so it really was a critical project for their tribes. And it shows that when we don't take care of our water or we don't have the means to clean our water, we really pay for it with our bodies.
Do you think that those projects kind of connected you back to our board? I mean, is that where the passion came from, or those projects in, you know, Bolivia and the other one in Santa Fe? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think what it shows is that the projects you work on really improve people's lives. And Central Sand definitely does it. It improves everyone in the district's lives, and we can make a big impact.
That's amazing work, and probably experience that never leaves you on the importance of clean water.
Yeah.
Wow. So now that you're at Central Sand, you've got a few months in to the district and sitting on the board. What surprised you the most about us? Maybe something you didn't know.
I would say the biggest surprise wasn't actually a surprise. I was laid off during my campaign. And so I actually started my new job at the same time that I became a board member. So
Is that all right?
So I was basically learning 2 jobs at the same time. It's definitely been a trial by fire. And
Which one's the hardest? That's what we really want you to know. Is it being a board? No, don't tell us. Don't tell us.
Well, I definitely appreciate the staff here to help me get my feet on the ground
thank
here.
you. I'm going to pass that along to them. They'll probably see this as well. So, you know a lot about us as far as our mission. I know you did a lot of research on us before you were interested in the board. What is meaningful to you about our mission?
I would say the reason the mission means so much to me is I tie it into climate change. with climate change, the driest places in the world will get drier, the wettest places in the world will get wetter. So we'll have both drought and floods to deal with, and that makes our water infrastructure critical. So that's what brings it home to me.
So again, we keep saying you're a new board member, but you could probably offer the best advice for someone that might be interested in running for a local board like Central San or running for election. What advice could you give them?
I would say if you even have the faintest thought of running, you definitely need to run. The way our democracy functions is when people stand up and participate. And for many people, that's voting. And then for other people, that's running as a politician. And we need more diversity of voices in politics. And then once you are elected, reduce the barrier of entry for other people. So again, we can get that diversity of voice and equal representation for everyone. So like here at Central San, we're switching from at-large to districts. And that will really help in getting more representation across the district. And another thing that I really like is approval voting, so that you get rid of the problem of vote splitting, which when I was first considering running, everyone was like, oh, you'll split the vote, you'll split the vote. And that really discourages first timers, basically, from running. And so that would solve that problem.
Okay, I like that. Good advice. So recycled water, we know, is so important. I know you're a huge advocate of recycled water. As far as making it part of California's managing of the drought and what have you, talk about your passion for recycled water and what your hopes are for Central San and their use of recycled water.
Well, Central San already has a potential project to give recycled water to the local refineries. I would like us to take more of a page from nature and the water cycle and basically redistribute the water that we treat back into our reservoirs in the future. So we give back the water that we take. So I would like to see that in the future.
Kind of a full circle approach, right?
Yeah.
I like that. So people don't really think, and you're an expert certainly in wastewater. You're no stranger to it, both at the refinery side and what you do in your day job as an engineer. So tell me, you know, for our folks at home, they may not understand how energy intensive the collection and treatment of wastewater is. Can you talk about how sustainability plays an important role in that?
Well, one thing that really impressed me about Central San is that we already produce 90% of our own electricity here. So that's awesome, honestly. And then there are projects coming up, for example, solar. We're going to be putting in solar panels, another renewable resource, and I'm really excited about that as well.
Now, something that's always a subject that's of interest to customers but concern as well is rates. And there's always this balance, right, between making sure our pipes and our pumps and our treatment plant, where we're at now, is well taken care of, but also balancing that with affordability. How do you as a board member strike that balance?
I compare our rates to our fellow sanitary districts as a baseline. And then, of course, I take into account feedback that I get from my constituents and take that into account. And then I also try to look towards the future and anticipate things that can go wrong. One thing that I really like is our, what's it called? The account that our rate stabilization account.
Yes. Okay. Well, it does have a very long name. We'll give you that. So, but it's it's a good name, right?
It is a great name.
The name is what it is, right? So, talk a little bit more about that for us.
Basically, the rate stabilization account allows us to basically have an emergency fund when unexpected expenses come up, and so that means that instead of raising rates, we can just take money from our emergency fund and then gradually put it back. It's basic budgeting, basically.
It sounds like smart budgeting, which I like. I'm all on board for. So, as you know, Central SAN has an award-winning student education program, hands-on science experiments for students, certainly pollution prevention messages. I know you're an advocate of that. Tell us how important it is to reach those youngest students now. Why does that matter?
I think it matters because we're basically the only species that literally designs our environment not only for ourselves but for other animals on the planet. And so it's important for people to basically understand our infrastructure, how it interacts in our day-to-day life, and how it interacts with the world. And basically, a lot of times that gets neglected, and it should be emphasized more.
You've got a few more years on your term. What do you hope to accomplish? What are some of your goals and priorities for the remainder of your term?
I would really like to see recycled water utilization to go way up. That's my first priority. My second priority is to see, like I said, once you're elected, you should try and help the next person who follows you. I would like to see us establish the individual districts and find other ways to make running for office at Central SAN more accessible to other people.
That's great. Anything we don't know about you that we have to know? What have we missed?
I am just really passionate about serving my community, and that also means listening to my community. And I would love it if people would send me an email or come up to me on the street and say hi or tell me their problems. So
not just their wastewater problems, but all their problems, right?
I might not quite be able to help with those, but
I'm glad you specified.
I can be a sympathetic ear.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Congratulations again. We appreciate your time, Mariah. You're very approachable, and that speaks volumes. And I think that's wonderful about our entire board is they love listening to the public. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Good to be here.